Welcome back to Inside the Numbers Sports Performance Podcast. Guys, today we've got some awesome guests here on this episode. You know, RockDaisy is an unbelievable product that sponsors this podcast, and we don't really talk a whole lot about it in the episodes here, but I wanted to bring on the founders of RockDaisy, and so you guys can hear the story of how RockDaisy was created, and even the backstory of how the name RockDaisy came about. Both Elvis Pereymer and Tanck are two unbelievable humans that are the founders and creators of RockDaisy, both that worked for the NFL for multiple years. Chris worked for the NFL for 17 years. And I want you guys to hear the story of how this company was created and also listen to how it's completely changed my life. Not just from being, involved in their company, but the product itself changed my life in many ways and saves me hours on hours and hours on end every single day, every single week, and helps elevate my program to levels I never thought possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and listen to the story of RockDaisy with both Elvis Pereymer and Tanck. I'll see you on the inside. Welcome to Inside the Numbers, the RockDaisy Sports Performance Podcast with your host, Coach Cody Hughes. Join us to unlock the secrets behind athletic performance as we break down the metrics and transform your collected data into powerful, actionable insights. Tune in for exclusive interviews with top coaches and professionals who are revolutionizing their training programs with data. If you love what you hear, please share it on X, Instagram, and YouTube, and tag us at RockDaisyAMS. Welcome back, guys, to Inside the Numbers Sports Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Hughes, and today we've got two special guests on, and the founders and creators of RockDaisy, both Elvis Pereymer and Tanck. Guys, thanks for coming to hang out with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I wanted to get these guys on is, first and foremost, I want to say a public thank you. Just from me being able to be a part of the team and seeing the product that I think is superior. That's just my personal opinion, of how great you guys have created a product that does such a good job with data analytics and visualization and really helps guys like me, as a coach, that it's really a superior product to help us do things at a high level and not spend near as much time. And your guys' commitment to excellence is just off the charts. But I'm sure a lot of people want to know, RockDaisy, the name, where did it come from?
Chris, I'll let you take that one on.
Yeah. In real quick summary, it was something like we were trying to find a name. This is, we're talking 10 years ago. Trying to find a name, that didn't kind of blend away with data analytics, data this. There's so much data everything. It's sort of like Google, just something that would kind of stick out. You would remember it, right? That was number one. It is actually a plant that lives through extreme heat. It kind of doesn't die. So it was sort of like another kind of something to it than just the name. And that was really it. Some people call me the Rock and Elvis the Daisy.
I'm the Daisy, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I just, I got a dog about 2 years ago, a rescue, and I named her Daisy, so I can't let anyone go. Yeah.
Hey, I love that. Yeah. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world, because now people hear RockDaisy, they know what it means, understanding that it's something that can withstand extreme heat, very durable, all that. That's excellent. But also, I want to hear how you guys got started. What's the background of where you came from and how RockDaisy was born?
Sure. Chris and I met at the NFL. Chris was my boss at the NFL. He was the director of data analytics there. He was my boss at the time. We're partners now, right? Yeah, no, and Chris, you were there for 17 years?
I was there 17 years, yeah.
Wow.
So I installed the first web server at the NFL.
Wow. Okay, so go in a little more detail there. So what exactly were you doing analytically or data for the NFL?
Yeah. When I started, we were just, and throughout, it was sort of the same thing, just progressed with technology, right? So it was, when I started in the 90s, it was a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of access databases and a lot of there weren't, a lot of stuff going on. So our first goal was to kind of centralize all this information into a database, right? So that's sort of what we did. From there, it was everything from player stats to player contracts to the rosters, transactions. And then it grew into league financials, and it grew into social media, and then it grew into, it just kept growing, NFL. And then we started doing feeds to NFL.com and all the third party. So the more we got the data in, we were able to distribute it out, right? And our customers were everything, like I said, from third party, ESPN, and those kinds of folks. Also the teams. We service the teams quite a bit. General managers, coaches, delivering data to them and reports to help them do a better job. I'll let Elvis speak a little bit about the AMS, but as we started working with the teams and closely with all the salary cap people and the stats people, the strength coaches started to take notice of what we were doing over there.
Okay.
Walking by, and I'll let Elvis speak on some of that.
Yeah, but I guess go back to kind of the NFL days, and how we progressed into deciding to open up RockDaisy. Chris was there for 17 years. It was my dream job to land a gig at the NFL because I love sports, I love technology, bring them both together. Chris and I worked together for about 4.5, 5 years while I was there, and we just decided hey, we love what we do. Why don't we take this outside of the NFL? Go work directly for, open up our own shop, directly for teams across the NFL, NBA, everybody in general. And that's kind of, Chris and I really thought a lot. We really clicked together. Friends now, obviously, and we're hey, let's get out of here. Let's do our own thing. It was always, I believe, Chris's dream as well, and we did it. We opened up, we took that leap, opened up our own company. So that's how it happened there.
So who was the original customer you guys served when you first opened shop? When you first decided, all right, we're going to do this thing, break away from the NFL, I want to know how it started, of who you guys were going to service and how it changed and how it grew.
So it started off not as a product company. I want to mention that. So we started off RockDaisy as, think of it as a data analytics consulting shop for sports, right? It happened to be that, because Chris worked for the NFL for 17 years, I was there for 5, we just started reaching out to folks. We started working with NFL teams directly. I forget.
Pretty much, yeah.
A couple of teams that just believed in us, and they're hey, go build out, this custom solution for us or that custom solution. And then it kind of bled into hey, it looks like we're doing similar type of solutions for all these teams, and we were using off the shelf type of products out there like Tableau and Power BI and these type of tools.
Right.
And we were finding that coaches were I'm not really touching these tools. I'm not gonna it may be easy to you tech guys, but I'm not touching this. So that's when Chris and I decided hey, maybe we could create our own product, right? Our own data visualization platform. In my past, I worked as a hardcore developer programmer and had connections to kind of find other programmers and stuff like that. And Chris and I, we started designing our own data visualization platform for coaches. And that's kind of how we started off.
Man, I mean, was that pretty difficult to figure out? You kind of wanted to create something, I guess, from nothing. Instead of taking something like Power BI or these other things and go, maybe we can build out our own box to create from inside, which has made kind of the infrastructure of who you are today.
Right. Yeah. It was extremely difficult. It was, and it still is, right? It's still growing. The one thing about technology is you can never stop. Right. It's not like you build a product and you're done. It has to evolve constantly. But we just luckily because of our years of experience combined, we've used just about every type of software out there. So Chris and I thought alike, and we're you know what, I like this piece of this software, this piece of that software, and we kind of designed our own Frankenstein, if you will, of a product. The most ideal body parts, if you will.
Sure thing.
Super difficult, but we did it. We're continuing to do it. The first year or two were tough. I think for us, the fact that we had really good early adopters and people who had patience, hey, we get it, this is new. We had our customers help us build a product, if that makes sense.
Right.
It wasn't just a bunch of tech guys hey, here's the best way to view things. No, we trial things out with our customers.
Right. And it seems like you guys were a little ahead of the curve. To me, this company you guys are what, 10, 15 years in? I mean,
yeah, about going to be 11 years.
10, right? More than 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that technology has really boomed over this last decade. You guys have been here and things have changed. Do you feel like you guys were a little ahead of the curve, or, didn't, like, maybe some coaches didn't really know this was possible, understanding like what you guys could do for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were a bit ahead of the curve. I think a lot of customers thought they would have to kind of hire their own tech staff,
Okay.
inside, and not knowing that, hey, technology, you could buy products like RockDaisy to solve your needs. So I think we still are slightly ahead of the curve on certain things. But yeah, I mean, I think people are not really open to change. Like if you would go to like a team and say, hey, I got an awesome data visualization product for you. Like now, I'll just get my guys to build me a dashboard in Excel or something to that effect. So
Yeah.
definitely ahead of the curve there. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Cool. So whenever you guys first started building, like I'm curious at what was the most popular ask? Like you said, you were asking, like you were working with your customers to build your visualization. So going back a little bit, what were some of the most popular things that customers wanted to see?
From what I remember, Chris, it was really all about stats data. Like they had a bunch of stats. They had their own database of stats and salary data, right, of athletes. And they're like, all right, I don't want to log into multiple systems to see my salary cap data and another system to see an athlete's stats. So we kind of combined that together. That was kind of our first, phase of dashboard development.
I think also the one big thing with all of that, whether it be stats or whatever, which we still think we do a very good job at, but I think why those teams in the early on kind of liked what we were doing was that we sort of had this interactive storytelling experience with the data, right? So a lot of the tools out there today, you'll see a chart or a graph, but if you want to drill down into more detail and maybe not a bar to a grid, but maybe who knows what you want, right? We were able to kind of give them the ability to see stuff at a high level and drill down to different types of visualizations, whatever they wanted, and we still can do that today. So a lot of stuff off the shelf at the time, and maybe even now, you couldn't do that as well as we were doing it. At least our customers thought so.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess the best way of explaining it is like, Cody, imagine, for example, you have a bunch of dashboards like in Excel or something, or even Power BI, but you have different sheets, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't need that type of data, go to sheet 10. So with us,
Yeah.
it was kind of like an all-in-one. In addition, we incorporated quite a bit of sports-specific visualizations and interactions. A good example of that would be video integration, right? So if I'm looking at stats data, right, I'm like, that doesn't tell me the whole story. Sometimes I want to see the video behind that. So based off our experience, we created video integrations and stuff like that. Like a Power BI and a Tableau, they don't really care about that type of stuff, right?
Right, that
Because
makes
they're going
sense.
for the masses, the financial institutions, that type of stuff. Video doesn't really matter.
Sure.
Also, we made our platform to be much more, visually appealing, right? All about athlete headshots, team logos, colors. Makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
And coaches
100%.
love that.
Yeah, I mean, as a customer myself and a user of just like the AMS Pro product, Chris, you're 100% right. Like being able to see maybe an overall bar chart of an average data of maybe one specific metric of, all right, we've got this one metric over this amount of time frame. I've got like a bar chart, but being able to click on that bar for that one athlete and go, oh, this was the like last 10 measurements, or give contextual data of a Z-score, things like that have really been helpful for us to contextualize data. Because you're right. I think that a lot of times just data for data's sake can be really messy and it doesn't really help you, but with the context that you can add with it with one click or one hover or the experience there for the customer seems to be such an important role. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, but you're already getting straight into the AMS part, which is
I'm just speaking from my experience.
Oh yeah, no. But I'll tell you, even before that, when we just to kind of bleed more into the story, when we started off purely as like a data visualization company. Like, hey,
Right.
we're the best way to give us your data, and we'll display it the best way for coaches and general managers and members of the front office to get it. And what we found, though, was, after we had, more than a handful of customers across a bunch of pro teams, a a lot of the teams were using our platform, whether or not for their front office, coaches, etc., and more so the athletic performance departments of teams started using our platform, and they would come to us and be like, guys, your data visualization is awesome. We love it. But if you could also create as intuitive of an interface to collect data, right? Because we were assuming that the teams that we were going after, that they already had a massive database and they just needed a way to interpret that database in the front end, right?
Yeah.
So we were assuming you had the data. But the athletic performance departments would be like, guys, if you guys could help us even collect data and make that intuitive, or centralize data from these third-party vendors like GPS trackers, those type of stuff, you guys could be a full-blown AMS. To be honest, we didn't know what the heck an AMS was. Right?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
We were kind of like the sir, yes sir type of guys. Great, and then when that started, we turned into a full kind of turnkey solution where now we're not just about collecting, visualizing data, but we can help you collect that data and bring it both together in one.
So that was how the AMS idea was born.
Yep, that was it. So we kind of, I don't want to say so much pivoted, because we still have plenty of customers right now that are using our platform solely as a data visualization tool on top of their house of data from stats to contract data, etc. And that's all great. But more of our turnkey solution is going after the athletic performance department, the strength and conditioning coaches, sports scientists, athletic trainers, kind of the guys who are like, hey, I don't have a tech team that has a database. I don't even know what a database is other than an Excel file. Can we use RockDaisy to collect data, centralize data, visualize it all in one? So
right.
Yeah, that's how that was born.
I mean, from building, just one other thing on that, I mean, just from building a scalable company, right? There's only so many pro teams out there. And every solution, or using our software, they're all using it similar but different, right? Not everyone has the same scouting reports, not everybody. But when you come to an AMS, sure, coaches look at data differently, but there's much more similarity in terms of a GPS report. Now, maybe what you do with that and how you interpret is different, but the numbers are the numbers, whereas an NFL scouting report, they're wildly different. And so you can't take one scouting report from, not that we would do this, but from one team to another. It wouldn't matter. It's
Right.
not how they look at it. So
That's right.
It's tough to build a business doing that kind of work.
Yep, that makes sense. So understanding both from the product side and from the business building side, that alignment is there. That makes all the sense. So as this AMS product started to become alive as a branch of the business, was it also the first people you guys were interacting with on that side as a full-blown service, like your pro teams, so your MLB, NBA, NFL?
Yeah, they were the first too, and even with them, it was still it wasn't a fully customized solution. A fully turnkey solution rather just yet. It was still a customizable athlete management system per NBA team, per NFL team, etc.
Right.
So yes, that was the first guys we started off with.
What are some of the hurdles with that right there that you guys had to overcome with because I feel like just like you said, Chris, every team is going to operate a little different or want to see things a little bit different. Were there some hurdles you guys had to overcome or continue to overcome with those type of demands?
Yeah, quite a few actually. The two main ones is that every team, no matter what, they had their own sports scientist, their own S&C coach, etc., and they wanted, and we were new to this game, right? So we were able to help them collect data and visualize it, but they would have to come to us to be like, hey guys, can you go build me this report or this dashboard? And while we're quick and we can knock it out quickly, they're like, I don't want to come back and forth to you guys. Like, we need a tool where we can build a dashboard on our own. So we ended up having to kind of make the tool that we were using a bit more user-friendly, that we can actually hand that off to a sports scientist, etc. So
Nice.
That was kind of like one of the hurdles we overcame.
Got it. What so now is AMS still something you guys primarily do? Like you said, you guys also do a lot of the visualization and stuff, but AMS seems like kind of like the baby at this point.
Yeah, AMS is our baby right now. But it's interesting, at the end of the day, everything, the AMS, the stats platform, it's all built off of one core platform. So we're able to create multiple products pretty quickly off of that. But yeah, AMS is our main focus, and even more so, it's really to make it even more turnkey, more kind of self-serve. That is our focus. Kind of like hand it off and go.
Yeah, for sure. And is that, when I met you guys, over a year ago and saw the product, I was amazed by it. I got introduced to you guys by Mark Hoover, for your listener that knows Mark. He's been on the show, friend of the show. So shout out Mark. But, it was tremendous to see. Like, it's so funny, the story of how, I got involved with you guys. And I remember seeing your booth at the 2022 NHSSCA NatCon, and I was a speaker and was like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I had no idea what you guys were. And here we are to this day, and having such a great experience with the product and the platform itself. So if you were to tell me, Elvis, the AMS Pro product, so what it does for strength coaches and athletic performance, what you guys are servicing now and looking at, as a primary customer, what does it do and how does it help?
Man, it saves you time, right? Gets you time back with your family and stuff like that. So it gets you out of Excel, I'll tell you that much. But
hey, there we go.
That's what it is. But yeah, to give you more kind of details on that, it helps you not only streamlining the way that you collect data on your athletes and making that quicker and more efficient, but also helps you actually do something with that data and present your findings back to other athletes, back to other coaches, to administration, to parents of athletes, without you spending hours and sometimes even days in Excel throughout the week.
100%.
Pretty much help you focus on what your main job is and the job that you love, which is coaching. We take care of the tech stuff for you. So pretty much a one-stop shop for your data needs.
I couldn't agree with that anymore. I mean, like, I can scream from the rooftops just from what it's done for me. Like, just so you guys can hear it, like, from a coach who came into a job that was wanting to do a really high level job, but had to service a lot of athletes and wanted to do it at a high level, including with numbers and data. And so I dove right into like spreadsheet, Google Sheet world, and tried to learn skills there. And I can't tell you how many hours I spent, learning that, just to have an opportunity to capture what was happening in my program and the amount of hours. And the thing is funny, Elvis, like, I would build something in Excel, and I'm not your average Excel Google Sheets guy either. I like to think I'm decently savvy. So, and I would build a tool and spend all this time building it and then try to build it for scale, right? Like, all right, I'm not just collecting data now, but what if I wanted to add an exercise, or like, there's a lot that goes into building things like that. But by the time I'd be happy with one, I'd have an idea for something else.
Of course.
And then I'd go and I'd just like, man, this is a never ending, like you said, technology never stops, And then, so when I made the switch to RockDaisy over a year ago, and now it's just there, it just lives there. So anytime I want to make a decision or want to see trends that are happening, I just click my bookmark that says, amspro.rockdaisy.com, and I can go see it. So from not just me as a podcast host, but as a user and a customer and a believer, man, I cannot echo that enough.
We appreciate that, Cody, and I'll tell you this much, yourself as well as plenty of other coaches that we work with, you're the guys who helped build RockDaisy AMS and what it is today. One of the quick things I'll tell you is that Chris and I were working with the pro teams, the NFL, NBA, NHL, all those guys, and then we didn't even know that high schools and performance centers cared as much about data until, past couple of years. And that's when we're like, well, wait a minute, why are these guys using Excel and Google Sheets? Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to like budget and stuff like that. We took that years of experience that we've had working with the pro teams, and then what we found was like everybody's for the most part doing similar stuff. Well, why can't we create templates off of that and just give it at a price that, whatever, like high schools could afford?
That's right.
Plus, Chris and I come from New York. Like, we didn't know, not to like downplay any schools here or anything to that effect. I could just speak about the schools I went to, but, sports was not, or how much New York, I guess, cares about sports data is different than the rest of the country, right?
Sure, that's right.
Which is pretty cool. And like, happy for the rest of the country, I'll tell you that much. I will be approaching my high school soon, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, especially on the high school strength and conditioning side. And then even on the private sector side, you'd be amazed at who's doing it at certain levels and who's not. And there's a lot of like variety from like some that are like data, what is that? To doing high level things. Like some places that like Adam Vogel up in Illinois, who's there, like the guys at China Springs and Cody Harvey, and you've got all kind of like really good, just, like what Mark Hoover does is just tremendous, like how he's a success story of a guy that uses RockDaisy he would consider himself like, I was a dinosaur and anti-technology, and now I'm the guy everybody calls, which is really interesting to see. So I want to talk about the platform itself, and how like one part of the platform I think is brilliant is like the data collection piece. So like one thing that I was really keen on as a coach was like, I want to be able to get data in quickly. And a lot of people are like, data entry is so tedious, man. It is awful. Like having to key in things all the time. And then there's some things you just can't avoid, right? So you've got obviously the third party integrations with things, but there's some things you just can't integrate with, right? Jumps, lifts, some things you want to get max lifts in and all that. But like, I am really impressed with the fact that you can operate like a spreadsheet or you can operate like a kiosk in one button. Can you elaborate on that?
I can even show it if you want. Right?
Sure, do it. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, so we want to, is there a way to share my screen here? How do I do
should
that?
be able, is there a share button on the bottom? You see it and then go to presentation?
Yep, I got it.
Would love to see it.
Let me share my screen here.
It might not be as intuitive as like Zoom or anything, but we can.
No, that's fine. We are a tech company, so I can figure this out.
Sure.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
So, when I'm logged into RockDaisy, like this is kind of like left-hand side here. Think of this as my control panel where I get data in, like I upload my roster, do that type of stuff. But from a data collection, if I click on enter data, we have like over 200 assessment forms that coaches have helped us build. Whether or not you want to collect, basic body weight data, stuff like that, here, or you want to do like jump data. Let's say you don't have like, a force plate or anything. You're throwing in like manual vertical jumps. We have all that type of stuff here. So I'm just going to click into some like random form like broad jump because all the forms are pretty much uniform, right? So I'll just kind of go out here for a second. So here's the uniform part of this form. It looks like a grid as it would in Excel, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is, right? By default on the top left, you have your date. Today is the date I want to put in data for. Depending on the form, we'll give you like up to 3 attempts to put in. Like I'm looking at broad jump. Maybe I want to put in broad jump attempt 1, 2, and 3. And you don't have to worry about creating formulas like you would in Excel. Like if you want to know the best or the average for the day, we automatically calculate that for you. But just plugging in data, like, hey, on the bottom right, I got 250 athletes in my fake high school. Filter this out. I just click on this filter icon. I don't know. I got my third period guys coming in.
Yep.
As simple as putting in data into a cell, 101 inches. That's it.
Auto saves right there. That's another cool feature is that it just auto saves. I don't have to worry about the save button.
And you know what's funny? I gotta tell you, we didn't come up with that feature. That's auto save. A coach came up with that. They came to about a year and a half ago. They're like, yeah, I like your forms, but we used to have like a save button. And they're like, but this is annoying. I don't want to click on save. I'm like, all right, sir, yes, sir. Let's create an auto save feature. So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's the coaches and the users that help us expand this platform. What's even cooler here now is like a grid might not be the easiest way to plug in data if you wanted to set up a cool kiosk, like on an iPad or something. So on this, right underneath the calendar, we have different modes. Like I'm going to switch this to kiosk mode. So if you had nice headshots on your athletes here, right? An athlete could choose themselves and put in data this way. So it's pretty that simple.
And it's all that data is connected. Like he put in data on the spreadsheet or grid mode, but on the kiosk mode, it shows the same. So you have a lot of different.
Yeah, so I'll click on Emma. There's a 101.
There it is. Yep.
Really that simple. I can kind of go back. We have. Our forms are not so much just about collecting numbers, like assessments. Like we have other pretty cool stuff, like you can track injury data within RockDaisy. You can have a bunch of coaches kind of have their own accounts and throw in their own comments on athletes, right? So it's like free-form text. If you want to do like a questionnaire, and there's plenty of platforms that have questionnaires, but we have that too, whether it's like a readiness questionnaire or like RP and that type of stuff. Yeah. But you name it, we kind of got it from a form point of view. Although it is much easier if you already have another vendor like GPS where you just click on an API sync button and you're good to go. But yeah, I'll stop sharing it.
Yeah. So I mean that's a nutshell right there of how to get data in. And even one part that I was super impressed with is how easy you guys made it to import data that you already have. So like, I came in as a customer and was like, well, I've got all this Sprint data. Like, am I going to have to manually enter that? And you're like, nope, we have a wizard for that. So like you pull it up and you basically just map columns. Like, hey, if you want your Sprint data to go here, what column header am I looking at? I'm looking for this one. Okay. It's okay. Do I have a name that matches? Do I have a date that matches? And do I have the number or the metric or whatever?
It's that simple. Yeah, I mean, we don't want, because you've already been doing some stuff in Excel and Google Sheets. We don't want you to start from scratch. Like even the data collection part, like that took a lot of work on your end. So we'll help you get that data in, like you said, going through a wizard of ours.
Right. And that's just getting the data inside, right? So getting it into the system. And sometimes that's the biggest like hurdle is in order to see data, it has to exist, so making that so easy is so great. And then on top of that, whenever you talk about, you mentioned templates, right? So like you've had coaches help you develop these templates of essentially in RockDaisy, you can see data however you want, right? Because there's so many templates that you can look at and go, all right, do I want to look at it from a daily trend standpoint? Do I want to look at it from a weekly trend? Do I want to look at it from an athlete specific dashboard of, okay, I have X amount of metrics. Where do they rank compared to everybody else? Or what is their product? Or what is their progress? I mean, their progress of from a baseline. So all of these templates were just born out of coaches bringing them to you.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah. I mean, we have over like 30 templates in our kind of library. Most coaches probably just care about 4 or 5 of them, but whatever. We got 30 of them. But we start off with like 10. As a matter of fact, Coach Hoover, he was one of the first to say, hey guys, you know what? It would be nice to have like an athlete report card. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then we kind of expanded on that. And then we had other folks come up to us and say, you know what, I'd love like a Z-score dashboard or like a radar chart or a spider chart, etc. And we kept on building. And at this point, we got 30 plus. Heck, just the other week, we built another one just because we thought it was a great idea. Like it's the coaches that helped build the platform. And now we have another template in the system that all of our other customers could use.
Right. Now, one part about these templates that I think is brilliant, okay, is that so you have a template and the thing is it's not rigid. So this is just the way to see data. You want to change the date range in which what data you're looking at? You can do that. You want to change the metrics you want to see inside that date range? Multiple metrics versus one, depending on the template, you can do that. And then you can make one tiny change. I changed the date range from instead of a 60-day, I want a 90-day. And then you hit save as new and you have a new template based off a custom name.
Pretty much. Yeah. You can save as many. We don't want you to be building stuff from scratch all the time, like choosing an athlete, choosing the date range, choosing the metrics over and over again. The whole point is to be a time saver. So you spend a lot of time in the beginning, set your stuff up, and then you're good to go. And then, even more so, you can share that, right, with other coaches, right?
Yes.
So it's like you as the admin may have like 50 things that you look at, right? But when you want your football coach to log in, you don't want him to see 50 things. So you can share certain dashboards with them and stuff like that too. Same things with athletes too, right?
Okay.
You could build a dashboard that say, me as Cody, I care about these 20 metrics, right? Maybe you're using some force plate metrics and stuff.
Right.
Parents and athletes won't know what breaking impulse is. They don't know what that means, right? You care about that type of stuff, but maybe for them, you want to build like a super basic athlete profile page that just shows your jumps and your speed and whatever data in comparison to your baseline, just to see how big you're improving. So
Love
multiple
that.
versions, yeah.
So an athlete can have their own login and go see their data whenever they want.
100% on their phone, on tablet, etc. And everybody's just going to go on their phone. So that's the other cool part about our platform. We don't really have an app to download. It's a browser-based system, but it's smart enough to render on all devices. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think that, it's helped me a ton, being able to create, including things like leaderboards as well, right? Like easy to build leaderboards and quick to shift from one or the other. You can select favorites for quick navigation and see all this data at once, which is just amazing. You know, like for example, if you guys want to know integrative wise, like I integrate with 3 things. So I integrate with Vald Performance, which is our force plates. We integrate with Vitruve for our VBT, because as you guys know, VBT data is crazy. There's so much data. You could never think about doing that manually, right? And then our dasher timing gates for sprinting. All of that data, I click one button and it automatically goes to all of the dashboards that I have selected. All that data is immediately available. So that saves me incredible amounts of time. And I'm not trying to like having to go to Vitruve's app and extract their data from there, or go to Dasher's dashboard and extract it from there. Could I? Sure I could, you know, but like you said, that's just more time I'm having to spend and not being effective, you know? So I think that's brilliant. Another thing
also, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying even more so, that's you going to all those apps. But what about the athlete? The athlete's not going to go to all those apps.
Definitely not. Yeah.
He just wants to go to one page, you know?
100%. So now the thing is about RockDaisy, like the AMS being such a data centralized place. The other part that is on the up and coming that a lot of people may not know about is the programming side of things. You know, there's a lot of apps and softwares out there to create training programs, but that's the next big thing here at RockDaisy. Can we talk about RockDaisy's workout builder?
Yes, sir. We had some suggestions about somebody by the name of Cody to build something like that. Yeah, the workout builder. So, you know, like you said, there's plenty of other products that have a great, you know, program builder, but we really want to be your one-stop shop. We don't want somebody, a coach, to have to buy multiple software packages, etc. So yeah, we just released about a short time ago, like less than a month ago, we released our workout builder. Phase 1 has been really going after folks who have like a no tech policy in the weight room and want to like print out training cards, whether it's like a cycle view, a week view, a rack view, etc. We make program building super easy, so you can even use us not only to deliver the programs, you know, via training cards, but even to have a whole database of customized programs. And the customization being like, hey, if you do any prescriptions off of, you know, percentage of max, stuff like that, you can throw that stuff in there. But where we're going to next, and actually we already have a release coming out now, is we're getting really great feedback from coaches on our training cards, right? Mm-hmm. And those same coaches are like, this is great, but now I want an iPad view. I want like a weight room type of athlete station, and I want it to be digital. So, well, we got that now going too. We even just the other week, we released something where we thought it was either training cards or having like a, you know, kind of like an iPad set up on a rack where athletes choose themselves, but found out from another coach the other week, like, hey, that's all good, but I got about 6 or 7 TVs set up in my weight room. Okay, and I just want a duplicate of all those TVs with like a reference table of everybody's training max percentages based off of the actual workout of the day, kind of like a lookup. So we just did that, and we got quite a bit more coming. We got some data collection stuff coming too. So
that's amazing. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm biased, of course, because I think that I've had a little bit of input on it, and like I said, you know, I have just been so blown away by the amount of your guys' agility and ability to listen and put things in play. Like I was in California last week, and my assistant texted me with exactly what you're talking about, like that lookup. And he was like, dude, have you seen this? And I was like, no, I haven't even talked to the guys. What is this? This is amazing. Like you guys, like William Fly texted me immediately and was like, oh, this is exactly what I was talking about. I didn't even know they did this. I was like, but that's who these people are. That's who they stand for. Like you guys as customer support and how you guys listen to coaches, and I tell people like this is a company that are for coaches, like 100%, and I get behind it with everything I've got.
Appreciate it.
And we've used it like as far as the training card system now. That's all we're full blown that now. Like there is not a spreadsheet in our system anymore, which is amazing. You're talking to a spreadsheet guy. If you're listening to this and you know who Cody is, you would think he's a spreadsheet guy. And I say, I don't use them anymore. None of them. Like I don't use them. It's a truly a one-stop shop for me to be able to create a program, deliver the program, receive the information, and then get it into the system. And it's going to be even better once that digital space of data collection eventually merges to that programming, which is only coming in the future, which I am so excited about.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, we're not stopping. Right?
And that workout builder too, right? You can get it separate. It comes with the AMS. like Elvis said. So we really want everyone just to be one stop. You get everything, but hey, if you just want to start out with the workout builder, you can do
That's
that.
right. Yeah, great point. I think that's brilliant too, because some folks just want to work a programming option, and you can get that. I mean, I'm blown away. Like just being able to operate that as a separate product, and then hey, if you get the AMS, it's included, and want to have a one-stop solution for everybody. So I can't brag on the product enough, and I'm not just doing that because you guys are on this call. Like it's made my life tremendously better, and it's so funny. Like I was just in San Diego and I was talking to some guys that have worked in the NFL before and even some like private sector coaches, and I was showing them RockDaisy and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know this existed." And I was like, "Yeah, this is amazing." So got some people that maybe want to come on board there too.
Awesome.
That is just here to help coaches, which I think is just tremendous. So I can't brag on the product enough. But so what about now in the future, other than Workout Builder, and AMS as it stands now? What's the next plan for RockDaisy as we go forward?
Sure. We're thinking about more. Obviously, there's always going to be more like features and bells and whistles and all that fun stuff. But as far as like major production, we want to get a little bit into the AI space. Okay. We're dabbling with a couple ideas for that right now. I don't know if things are a bit too premature there.
Sure.
But we don't want to forget about the athletic trainer either, right? So while there's plenty of EMR systems out there, we do have like a kind of like a mini injury module within our AMS today too. So we're thinking about that too, because we really want the athletic trainer to be there, the strength and conditioning coach,
right,
medical staff, et cetera, kind of all one-stop shop. So thinking about other kind of bells and whistles there. In addition, while we are going mainly after like high schools and colleges, we've had quite a few performance centers, request our platform. We realized that we might be able to do a couple more performance center specific type of features, like, especially when it comes to the workout builder. Maybe I do like online training and I want my athletes to kind of like log in versus having a group of athletes in the weight room. So
right,
those type of features are coming.
Awesome.
Yeah. And more.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Well, I feel like there's always more. But Chris, anything from your end, maybe from your perspective?
No, I think Elvis covered it. I mean, he stole some of my thunder there. So.
No.
I'll leave it.
Rewind.
Right. Oh, we're good. Well, sweet. Well, hey, one, I think, this was great for you guys to come on and tell your story. For guys that, now, if you ever ask, if you're listening to this and want to know what RockDaisy means, now you know. I'll go from there. And if you guys want to check out the product, where they need to go?
RockDaisy.com, free trial for 14 days.
Yeah, seriously, get a free trial, get hooked up quickly. If you guys go to RockDaisy.com and hit it, if you guys want to learn more about the product, or DM me, I'll show you anything you want to show, as far as from a coach's perspective. You guys can hit me at any time. I'll show you my entire, setup and how I've got things going, and I can relate to you. But this is not me just pitching this product, guys. This is us just talking about the story and me telling you how it saved, like it helped my life. Like it's more personal to me than it's deeper than just having cool things, but being able to provide a high level product with less time. Everybody in the world's trying to do that, and be effective at what they do. So I appreciate you guys like crazy.
Yeah,
I can't say it enough. So, well, all right, guys. We'll catch you guys later. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out.